As a reporter for the Dagbreek en Sondagnuus, and the only journalist on the scene, I wrote an article that flashed around the world and plunged South Africa into greater isolation. I elaborated on this in Chapter 16. After 1966, Forster sought to break through this isolation, and the government voted money to make full-blooded tours to South Africa possible. In his way, Forster did his little bit for the struggle of the verligters, despite the cosmetic nature of his reforms, aimed at improving the image of South Africa outside its borders. For instance, Forster did not see his way clear to granting the coloured community political rights, as the verligters had encouraged him to do. Nasionale Pers's papers, nonetheless, lauded him for his adjustments, and, in 1970, he would score a massive victory at the polls. The Verkramptes, on the other hand, lobbied against Forster under the banners such as those of Gert Beetge's Blanke Bouwwerkersvakbond, the White Construction Workers' Union. The paper Veg attacked the National Party from Pretoria. The big spider in the resistance web was Dr. Albert Hertzog, a member of Forster's cabinet, who was later kicked out and who started his own party. Under these circumstances, Nasionale Pers's papers could launch into the far-rightists with gusto. Skalk Pienaar took the lead with Die Beeld. Die Burger under Sillier was a tad more restrained, and Die Volksblad under Bart Simon was still rather fearful of the consequences of black land ownership and black participation in government. The plea for a more open society in Nasionale Pers publications caused English papers such as the Rand Daily Mail under Lawrence Gandar and later Alistair Sparks, and the Sunday Times under Joel Mervis, to hope for a split in the National Party and increased support for the parliamentary opposition, the United Party, UP. But something else happened. The more the far-rightists were marginalized by the mainstream in the NP, the more the UP fractured. The Progressive Party gradually supplanted it. The leading English-language papers did not give Nasionale Pers credit for its role in the reform of our political landscape. The hopes of a paper such as the Rand Daily Mail were, as far as the white electorate was concerned, pinned on the Progressive Party. The Afrikaans press soon experienced a strong division between the papers of the Perskorps group and its predecessors and those of Nasionale Pers. I discussed this in more detail in Chapter 6. The citizens of countries that were not as well acquainted with South Africa as, say, Great Britain was, were sometimes under the impression that, in the apartheid era, the country's population consisted of a united stronghold of like-minded white oppressors and a majority of passive, oppressed black people.